Right, so I'm going to talk you through the second exercise on the modal verbs and il faut page in Expo. This is the online book. Obviously, you can also use the hard copy of the book as well. We've already completed exercise 1, or we've been working through exercise 1. We're now going to move on to this one down here, which is translating sentences into French. Now, the first one, which says, do you want to go to the cinema tomorrow? So we're trying to translate this into French, and we're trying to use the pronoun tu as we do this. Now, before we do anything else, we need to think to ourselves, obviously, we're going to try to avoid worrying too much about it, and we're certainly not going to think about anything like using Google Translate to come up with an answer, because that's not going to help us to actually know exactly what it is that we're talking about. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use things that we've already done. So if I come back out of this, I'm going to look up here at this activity. Now, you remember that yesterday we used this and we had ville matin tu en allais samedi, and you remember the answer to that was tu veux aller en ville samedi matin. If I come back out of that and go into this activity here, do you want to go to the cinema tomorrow, has got pretty much the same kind of formation as the first sentence. So a lot of it's going to be similar. The other thing that you need to make sure that you're looking at is the notes page over here to try to pick out things that might help you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so that we can see it. And I'm going to look at our modal verbs and il faut examples here. And it says, tu veux aller au cinéma? Do you want to go to the cinema? So if I come back out, and I move on to the next page and I go on to my activity here. Do you want to go to the cinema tomorrow? Let me see what it said over there again. Do you want to go to the cinema? The only thing you need to change about that is the word tomorrow. So I'm just going to go in here and we're going to look at this. It says tu veux aller au cinéma. Go into my board here. Turn it the right way up. And write down tu veux aller au cinéma, and this is just what it's got in the book, as I've just explained, tu veux aller au cinéma, and the only word that I need to find now is the word for tomorrow, which you either know or you don't know. And if I just grab a dictionary here and look up the word tomorrow so that you know whereabouts it is that I got it from, and clearly I got it from my head, but so that you know where to get it from in case you don't know it. Tomorrow, never hurts to always look these things up to double check. And if I look here, we've got the word demain. I'm not going to refocus that. We've got tomorrow's demain. So all I'm going to do is write my word demain down here, and I've got the first one, demain. Tu veux aller au cinéma demain? Question. Done. Number 2. Let's have a look at that because that might be a little bit more tricky. The reason why I say it might be a little bit more tricky is that it might not just follow something that's already happened. So let's have a look at that one. Let's move over the page. And it says, sorry, I can't. I have to tidy my room. And it wants you to use devoir, the verb to must or to have to. So, sorry, I can't. Now, you might remember that yesterday, again, in number 2, you had ne, désolé, je, mais, pas peu, which turned into désolé, mais, je ne peux pas. Sorry, I can't. That's going to be the same. So, let's write that down. Désolé, mais je ne peux pas. What else did it ask us to write? It asked us to write, I have to tidy my room using devoir. So I'm going to scan the page over here to see whether or not it's anywhere, because you never know. So I have to. First thing is we need to use this verb, so devoir. We need the I, and obviously these are the pronouns for each part of any conjugated verb. So we've got je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, and elle. So I've got I, you, he, she, one, we, you plural, and they. And grammatically speaking, first person, second person, third person singular. First person, second person, third person plural. So the first person singular, read across here is je dois. So I'm going to add that onto my board here. Je dois tidy my room. Now let's see if that's anywhere on the page, because you never know what's going to be on the page there. And I haven't looked at this in advance. So I'm looking for tidy, and I can't see it. So I'm going to need to look this bit up in the dictionary. So tidy my room. Let's look for tidy. So we've got tidy. Let me just focus that for you so we can see what it is that we're looking up. And it says it down here that we've got two tidy. Tidy adjective. Now, of course, you've got to remember which tidy is it you want. If you have to tidy something, then it's the verb. Otherwise, it's the adjective tidy, like a room would be tidy. But if you look, there is a link between the two. You've got ranger, which is a verb 52, so it's got something irregular about it. But we don't need to know that, because all we need at the moment is the infinitive. So we've got ranger, and then we've got la cuisine would be up the kitchen. So I'm going to take ranger, and I'm going to write that down here. Then the next word that I'm going to look up in case, and I'm sure that most of you can remember it, but the word is going to be bedroom. And what I'm looking for here is both the word bedroom, and I'm also going to look for the gender. And you'll see why I'm looking for the gender in a moment. So bedroom is going to be, bedroom is, if you can just about see that, I'm going to focus it this time, bedroom is la chambre. And you can see la chambre, it says la, which means it's feminine, but it's also got just next to it here, it's got the word femme next to it, which means it's a feminine word. Now, so if I just write that onto my board, chambre, because of course I need a word in between somewhere, which is for my. And of course, the reason why I've needed to know what gender this word is because it depends on the gender of the word that we're talking about as to whether or not it's going to be one of the my. So I'm just going to go back into here and I'm going to look up what my is. Now, I know that most of you know this, but it never hurts to look it up if you're unsure. So we go into my. And see what it says. It says my with masculine singular nouns. It says my with feminine singular nouns, and then it's got my with plural nouns. Now, of course, it was my bedroom, and we found out that bedroom was a feminine singular noun. So the word that we're after is this one here, which is ma. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put into this little space ma chambre. So that's how you complete that activity. It will also, of course, help if you make any notes as you go along. So if there are items of vocabulary that you didn't know, like for example this one, ranger, that meant to tidy, so that you remember it next time, just jot it down. If this was a new word to you, the ma, make sure that you jot it down. And that's what I need you to do with that activity.